Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faradila Chantika. I am from 5C class English Education Department, and in this occasion I will explain about chapter number 9, Reporting and Evaluating Research. This chapter addresses how to write and compose a research report and how to evaluate the quality of this report. It emphasizes the importance of audience, structuring your report for your audience, writing in a non-discriminatory, ethical, and scholarly way, and using accepted evaluation criteria to assess the quality of your report. By the end of these chapters, you should be able to define the purpose of research, reporting, and identify the types. And the second is identify how to structure your research report. And the third is identify good, sensitive, ethical, and scholarly writing practice. And the last is list criteria for evaluating a research report. And we're going to the next page of this PowerPoint. What is research report? The step is in the process of research and with development of written report of your research. A research report is a complete study, the reports of investigation of exploration of problems, identifies questions to be addressed, and include data collected, analyzed, and interpreted by the researcher. And the next is what audience will receive in the report. The audience for your report is determine the acceptable standards. Look in journal to learn the criteria required to submitting articles. Look at the literature for specific standards. Check with the school to determine specific standards for a thesis or dissertation. And next we are going to what are the types of research reports. Students prepare a dissertation and thesis as a requirement for their doctoral and master's program. After completing that dissertation or thesis, researchers of the condense it into a journal article for submission to an educational journal. Alternatively, they might present an abbreviated version of the dissertation or thesis at a national, regions, or state conference or to individuals in their school settings. After receiving comments from the audience and making revisions based on the comments, they might submit the research to a journal for possible publications or filed with a school or school districts. The next is identifying the structure of research reports. Examine the levels of heading in a study. There are 5 levels of heading in APA style. Level 1 is the highest of mind level or heading, and level 2 is a subheading of level 1, and level 3 is subheading of level 2, and so that took level 4 and 5. The number of heading to use in a paper depends on the length and complexity of the word. And the next is the 6 steps in the research process. The next is the research questions or hypothesis and the answer. A hypothesis is defined as an educated guess, while a research question is simply the researcher wondering about the world. Hypotheses are part of the scientific research method. And the last is the structure of different types of reports, qualitative or quantitative, And qualitative data is information about quantities and their form number, and qualitative data is descriptive and regards the phenomenon which can be observed but not measured, such as language. Okay, as you can see from the PowerPoint, it's have structure of quantitative and qualitative proposals. In quantitative format, it have title page, abstract, introduction, review or literature, method, timeline, budget or preliminary, and chapter outline, reference, and for quantitative format, it have title page, abstract, introduction, procedure, preliminary findings, anticipated outcomes, and tentative literature review or optional, timeline, budget, and preliminary, chapter outline, and reference, and the last is appendix. And next is variation in structure of a qualitative study. It has scientific approach, storytelling approach, thematic approach, descriptive approach, theoretical approach, experimental alternative or performance approach. And how do you write your report in a sensitive and scholarly way? The first is use language that reduces bias. The second is describe individuals at an appropriate level of specificity. And the third is be sensitive to labels for individuals or groups. And the last is acknowledge participation of people in a study. And the next is how do you write in scholarly way? First, in scholarly terms, use standards, qualitative and qualitative terms appropriately, balance research and content, interaction sections, and be consistent for the reader. And the last is advance consist a title. How do you evaluate the quality of your research report? The criteria of evaluating the quality of the study depends on the evaluator. Evaluators may be faculty, journals editor, reviewers, policymakers, and practicing educators, and conference paper review. Evaluators look for different characteristics of a good quantitative or qualitative study. Although C standards exist, several general guidelines are available to research might use to evaluate study. Quantitative evaluators are most concerned about aspects related to data collection, analysis, and the reporting of results. Qualitative research are connected and concerned about data collection as well, but also about the persuasive of the study and the self-analysis of the research, such as does it meet publication standards? Will it be useful in our school? Will it define policy discussions? Will it add scholarly knowledge about a topic of a research problem? Will it help address some pressing education problems? Okay, I think that's all my explanation about chapter 9. I'm so sorry if I had mistake. And the last is wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.